DC is back with another band of criminal misfits teaming up as the Suicide Squad. Will it be better than the first outing? Will it help the DC Extended Universe back on its feet? Hi there, it's Micha. Let's take a peek at this together. There were some discussions around the setup of this movie that I really didn't understand. It was around whether this is a sequel, a reboot, or a soft reboot, whatever that may mean. From the trailers, you know Harley Quinn is in it, as is Rick Flag, so it clearly is a sequel, the rest is just semantics. With that said, let's jump into the synopsis. Fishy government operative Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis like in the previous movie, has another urgent assignment for Task Force X, the official name of a Suicide Squad. So important that she sends in 2 teams to an island republic recently suffering a coup. The task is not to end or reverse the coup though, but to destroy a dangerous experiment of alien origin that the previous administration was working on for years. As that regime was friendly to America, though not necessarily to their citizens, the new one having control over the experiment is deemed too dangerous. After a nice misdirect at the very beginning of a movie, and I don't want to spoil you here, we are following our main protagonists. We have Idris Elba as Bloodsport, an excellent marksman and leader of the team. John Cena is playing Peacemaker, also an excellent marksman, just weirder and happy to kill each and everyone as long as it guarantees America's peace.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
I thought you were the crazy one.
I am.
David Dastmalchian is the Polka Dot Man, someone who was abused by his mother for deadly experiments and now can shoot polka dots at people because if he keeps them in, they would explode him. And then there is Daniela Melchior playing Ratcatcher 2. She can control rats, an ability she inherited from her father, the original Ratcatcher, portrayed in a flashback by Taika Waititi. The team is completed by the motion captured character of Nanaue, aka King Shark, the Muscle, voiced by Sylvester Stallone. The simple but in his core good-hearted anthropomorphic shark has only a small vocabulary.
Any questions?
And?
Yes, that is your hand. Very good.
We're all gonna die.
I hope so.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And a different perspective at humanity, which leads to some issues.
Nom nom.
Somewhere in the mix, of course, are also Harley Quinn, again portrayed effortlessly by Margot Robbie, and Joel Kinnaman's Rick Flag. How their assignment goes and what danger awaits, I don't want to spoil here. I will list some of my favorite moments in the spoiler zone, though, with an appropriate warning, of course, so no worries. I honestly can't say much bad about the movie. It is a light-hearted piece of joy that comes along with a hard R rating, allowing for some hilariously violent scenes. Apologies to all Zack Snyder fans out there, but it seems like I really enjoy the DC properties he was not that involved in, much more than the other way around. My favorites so far are the appearances of Harley Quinn, the Aquaman movie, and Shazam. The screenplay learned from previous DC mistakes, and as it was written by Guardians of the Galaxy's James Gunn, this shouldn't come as a surprise. He weaved in a lot of his light-hearted fun and his specific kind of weird but enjoyable humor.
3, 2.
What are you guys doing?
We're here to save you.
You were gonna save me?
It was a really good plan, too.
Well, I can go back inside and you can still do it.
That's patronizing.
I'm so sorry. Harley Quinn.
Bloodsport.
As a suggestion, if you also like James Gunn's style, make sure to check out his previous movies Slither and Super, with the first one being a sci-fi comedy with Nathan Fillion.
How's everybody's evening? Good? Good.
And the later a superhero movie with Rainn Wilson as a hero without any powers. That one is violent as hell, but also very realistic in regards of how it would play out if someone would just start to play a superhero. What the screenplay also improved on was the way to integrate the characters' backstories. They were interwoven with the plot, often in flashbacks, instead of an information overload in the very beginning. Still not perfect, but likely the best you can do in a standalone movie with so many first appearances. They also acknowledged the level of goofiness the movie showcases by leaning into it. similar to what they do in DC's TV show Legends of Tomorrow, where they just have fun and don't even bother anymore to try to give any logical explanation. Here it is not that extreme, but they lean into it heavy enough so that you never question the logic or probability of events, cranking up the suspension of disbelief level to the max, at least within the DC Extended Universe. Speaking of the DCEU, according to interviews with James Gunn, a lot of this movie's quasi-standalone status came from the uncertainty of what will happen in the future of the Extended Universe. Will they continue with new properties, or will there be more detached projects like the Joker or the upcoming The Batman? At one point, Gunn considered the team fighting against Superman, but the described uncertainties killed that idea there and then. Though one of the recurring mistakes in DC movies is to depend on a big CGI bad guy without any backstory, this time it works, because Starro, the kaiju alien starfish, is so big and slow that there is none of the usual blurriness.
Oh my god, we've got a freaking kaiju up in this shit!
They could even show him in broad daylight, and pretty much no backstory is needed. Starro kind of reminded me again of Legends of Tomorrow, where we had that blue character Bebo, also coming along as a kaiju version. Starro's form is also so simple that the quality of the imagery is great. Same is true for most of the effect work in this one, including King Shark. Also, nothing to complain here. I also loved Harley's side adventure and seeing her character continuously evolving from villain to anti-hero to possible hero in the future.
Gracias.
I just wondered why Waller allowed her to stray away that far without any threats of exploding the bomb in her head. They could have addressed that along the way, but in the end it still made sense, so no worries. They even managed to bring in some unforced humanity via the character of Ratcatcher 2, as she interacts with King Shark on a trust level that others are not willing to grant him. She is the heart of a movie.
I'm gonna get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
And if I have not missed it, it was never mentioned why she was incarcerated. Likely this was a nod to Amanda Waller not only using bad guys for her missions, but hinting that the government imprisons people with powers if they don't know what to do with them, no matter if they have done a crime or not. One last callout around Polka Dot Man. Apparently, at least according to Wikipedia, actor David Dastmalchian has a sickness called vitiligo, where he displayed white spots on his skin. So he was actually being called Polka Dots as a kid, which no one knew before shooting and which offered him a personal connection to the character.
Here's the deal. We fail the mission, you die.
If we find out any information you give us is false, you die.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
What? No.
Okay, let's rate this one. We have 132 minutes that flew by very quickly. A screenplay that avoided big mistakes and played over all other issues by just leaning into the absurdity that it is. The fun was also enhanced by a hard R rating instead of stifled by the previous entry's PG-13. Even though characters were only quickly introduced, we still were connected enough to feel the appropriate humanity where needed. Therefore I'm rating this movie with a solid 9 out of 10, while looking forward to James Gunn's upcoming Guardians Volume 3 and the holiday special on Disney+. If you don't want to get spoiled but enjoyed this video so far, please like it now before you leave. And if you are no subscriber yet, maybe consider to change that. If you don't mind spoilers or have already watched the movie, please follow me again into the spoiler zone. In the beginning, in a classic misdirect, we tag along for the assembly of Team 1, which immediately gets almost completely decimated, just to learn about Team 2, and that all even before the title credits. It may have surprised some people that they almost kill off the entire first team, but what do you expect after the teaser? Reading a list of 24 new characters for the movie. And also, the possibility of dying is there in the title. I guess them dying so early on and all at once was a bit unexpected, but the way they kicked the bucket is weirdly funny though, at least in most cases. And the choice of characters was fun, with some of the most useless superpowers you have ever seen on screen. Especially Nathan Fillion as TDK, the detachable kid, was so ineffective in killing enemies. He was only creating slight inconveniences for his foes by lightly slapping their faces.
Formidable? No. Annoying? Yes.
Hilarious. Also, killing off Captain Boomerang right away might have been a shock, but really, did he even add much to the team in the first entry? I'm really asking, as I can only remember him going out, drinking a beer or something, while the rest was fighting. So for me, no big loss here. Michael Rooker's death was also fun, as he has the quickest comeuppance ever. He killed a bird with a ball in the beginning, and moments later we see another one of the same species feasting on his corpse. By the way, was that a Robin, ironically? My favorite scene was in the insurgent camp, where the trained viewer was not surprised to find Flag not captured, but rescued, making the team's killing spree through the ranks of the supposed enemies but actual allies even more entertainingly cringeworthy. I also liked Harley's quest to understand the cryptic words of the early on deceased Javelin, while handing her the eponymous weapon, which came with a real payoff in the end, as it was the perfect weapon to pierce Starro's giant eye. Also, her disposal of her love interest after showing too much red flags was a step into the right direction. A violent step, but into the right direction. As mentioned before, of possibly earning real hero status someday. I just hope that Flag, who I didn't like much in the first movie, but who redeemed himself, at least in my eyes, in this sequel, will be brought back from the dead somehow. Seems unlikely, but in the superhero world you should never say never. For a second there I also feared that the Peacemaker series on HBO Max would be a prequel, as he appeared to be dead in the end. But they fixed that with a tacked-on sequence. By the way, as we could expect, the two operatives from Waller's Situation Room that were sent to see Peacemaker in that scene will reprise their role in the show, likely as his handlers. That closes our spoiler room for today. How did you like the movie? Was any of the shared tidbits news for you? Do you agree with the rating? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, like it and feel free to share it with your friends. And why not subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any future video. Make sure to also hit the notification bell to get a heads up whenever a new video is posted. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching!